The morning following their arrival in Madaktu, a well-fed and rested Reed, Hortu, and Kuzao emerge from the Madaktu Hotel and are greeted by Stellam Van Alam, Vilam's father, and Madakstu, the town steward. Hortu says, "Stellam, your hair is magnificent." Stellam says, "Well, thanks, but never mind about that. There are more important matters to discuss. Your horses, carts, treasure, weapons, everything have been stolen by bandits in the night." A confused Hortu says, "Huh? What?" Reed says, "Shit, that's everything we have here, but no big deal. I can always get more from my father." Hortu says angrily, "Maybe you can, but that was everything I owned in the world. We have got to get it back. What the hell happened? How could this happen? We paid an attendant to watch our stuff. He better be dead and disemboweled to let anybody steal our stuff. And if he isn't, I'll do it myself." Stelm says, "Tell her, Madakstu." Madakstu says, "We found the attendant. He claims he does not know what happened, but something does not add up in his story." Hortu says, "You're damn right it doesn't add up. I want to see that cocksucker right now." Madakstu says, "Yes, his standard of service is my responsibility, and you have that right, and I will bring him to you shortly. You ain't damn better." Madakstu leaves and returns a few minutes later and says, "Here he is." Hortu says, "I need to know what the fuck happened to my chariot, my treasure. I swear I don't know what happened," he says. "I do not believe you. You were supposed to be guarding my stuff. Why aren't you dead? There's no way they would let you live unless you were in on it." The attendant says, "Why should I risk my life anyways, guarding your stuff? I know all about you. You're just a smelly rook whore." Hortu pulls out a knife and puts it to the attendant's throat. It says, "I am not a whore. I am a pleasure therapist." Reed says, "Where did you get the knife, Hortu?" "Don't worry about it, Reed. If you don't tell me where it is, fuck you, whore. What are you gonna do? I'll slice off your skin, leave just enough to keep you alive, and castrate you with a hemp rope. Find your children and your grandchildren, cut out their eyes, and feed them alive to pigs one at a time, so the next in line can hear the previous scream. Then I'll slice open your belly and put rats inside, make sure they have air, and not let them eat you all at once, then let you heal, and do it all over again." Reed says, "Holy shit, Hortu. And now you're going to tell me where they are. Okay, I'll take you there. Just leave my offspring alone." "Don't get ahead of yourself. Get me there first, then I'll decide what I'll do." Madaktu says, "It was her stuff that was stolen. She does get to decide the penalty according to Madaktu justice." They are in the mountains. It is about a 3-hour walk if we go straight uphill, and a 10-hour walk if we take the wagon path. Stellan says, "What do you think? Can Madaktu spare some guards to exterminate a few bandits?" Madaktu says, "Not sure." Reed says, "I must go to protect her. I owe her my life. She rescued me from Uruk Priest and his crazy sacrifice." Stellan says, "Well, if Reed's going, you're obligated to send guards in overwhelming force to protect Reed. You said so yourself. If Reed dies, Inanna may not be so inclined to weaken Babylonia, and that may be enough to spoil Elam's invasion." Madaktu says, "Okay, I'll go along with 4 guards. The lead guard speaks both Elamite and Akkadian. That should improve communication." Reed says, "Great. Kuzao can stay at the inn. If we don't make it back, she's on her own. Alright, gather weapons and supplies. Meet back here in an hour." Several hours later, in early evening, the bandits are partying off the proceeds of their theft of Reed and Kuzao's and Hortu's treasure and are getting quite drunk and stupid. The bandit leader is showing off his new helmet. He says, "What do you think of the horns? Pretty cool, huh? It's just a thing to intimidate our next victims." Bandit 2 says, yeah, real nice. I'm sure it'll scare the holy hell out of them. Bandit 3 isn't paying attention. He is focused on pounding as much beer as humanly possible. The vigilantes climb the mountain path straight up to the bandits' camp. The Elamite guard leader peeks through the bushes and spots the bandit camp. He says, "Quiet, they are right up there. I know it's them. I can see Hortu's chariot. We need to devise a plan of attack." Hortu pushes past the second guard. He says, "Screw that," then past the lead guard and rushes straight into the camp. She catches the attention of the bandits. The bandit leader says, "Well, what do we have here? Complimentary delivery, whore?" Then he says, "Now, just what do you think you're going to do with that spear, young lady?" Hortu says, "This," then drives the spear. Well, you can see for yourself. Hortu says, "I'm getting a taste for this. Who wants to die next?" Bandit 3 says, "Just take what you want." Hortu says, "You know it's not going to end here." The guards seize the surviving bandits and bind their wrists behind their backs. The guard leader says, "What do you want with these two?" Madaxu says, "The victims have the right to declare punishment. But let me suggest we partially flay them, remove as much skin as possible without killing them." Guard leader says, "Castration?" "Oh yes, the sight of castration will pair quite nicely with the flaying, but we must make sure they don't bleed out before the second part of the sentence is carried out, which would be to put them in a metal cage, hang them by the city gate, and give them enough food and water to survive to suffer as long as possible. If they heal, we'll flay them again, or burn them a little bit, hang them back up and repeat, until the gods have had enough and let them die. But really, what do you say, Hortu? Reed?" Hortu says, "Well, the extended torture thing is pretty cool and all, but I was wondering if I could have these too. I could castrate them, turn them into slaves, maybe keep them, maybe sell them on the open market. Depends. Try to squeeze out as much value as possible. No sense in wasting perfectly good condemned prisoners. And if things don't work out, we can always torture them to death later. That would be nice." Lead guard says, "Well, what about this one?" About the attendant. Hortu says, "I don't give a fuck about that one. He's not worth anything on the slave market. Too old, useless, disloyal, unreliable. I say do the extended torture thing. That would be cool." "I'd kind of like to see that. Hell, I want to help. I think I'd like it." Madaxu says, "Well, what do you think, Reed? You get a say." Reed says, "Well, whatever tickles Hortu's fancy." "Okay, sounds like a plan. Stellum, anything to add?" "I agree. It'll be dark soon. We should camp here. Load up the chariot and wagon with as much as will fit in the morning, and we'll take the wagon path back to Madaktu at first light." Hortu thinks, "So cool. So very cool.